We interrupt our program to bring you this important message.
Cheerio, gents and ladies. Welcome to another live edition of Vikings Uncensored, where this week the Minnesota Vikings travel across the pond to jolly old England to host the New York Jets.
Get out your tea and crimpets.
Yes, have a little fish and chips and some beans and toast and whatever all else you want to have, but good evening, Doc. Good evening, Nympha. Good evening, Drew. Good evening, everybody in the chat. We got our official home away from home game.
Does my goatee look crooked to you?
No, the goatee is straight. Just everything else is cockeyed.
Okay. We're good then. We're good.
We're good on all that. Little bit of news stuff going on this week. Not a ton, but we'll hit that quick.
Did you hear? We're trading for Max Crosby and Devontae Adams.
That was part of the news I was going to bring up here in just a moment, but you stepped on the touchdown call, Lance. But that's we'll hit the news here quick in just a second. We'll take Brunswick's last word on the Packers game from last week, roll into the preview versus the Jets. And then, of course, at the end of the show, we will have our prediction segment as always and roll on from there. So throw your comments, throw your questions, anything else in the chat. We'll hit those along as we go. Make sure you hit that like and subscribe as well. Good evening, Dan. Helps us out a ton with that as well. But with no further ado, let's roll right into it here. So as Brunswick brought up here just a little bit ago, the Las Vegas Raiders have begun shopping one wide receiver, Devontae Adams. And then, of course, all of Viking social media jumps on we need to sign Devontae. We don't need Devontae Adams.
If we're going to trade for anyone right now, trade for fucking Dexter Lawrence. Trade for a need on this team, not bolster some where we already got depth. I mean, if we're going to go for Max Crosby, who's going to lose snaps at the edge position? I think we're pretty set there.
We don't need any edge rushers, and we don't need any wide receivers.
Exactly.
You've got Jordan Addison.
And we don't have any trade assets.
No, we don't. I mean, Dexter Lawrence is one guy I would definitely kick the tires on and see what it would take to get.
Or Simmons from Tennessee.
Yeah, Simmons would be another good one. And to Drew's point, the Giants are not trading Dexter Lawrence. I don't think so either, because right now the NFC East is a complete shit show, and the Giants aren't out of this yet. So, probably won't be out of it by the trade deadline. So I don't know why they would trade him to begin with, but.
Fact of the matter is, we're not getting fucking Devontae Adams or Max Crosby. It's not happening.
No. Devontae Adams, like I said, the Vikings are not going to give up the limited draft capital that we have left on a position that we don't need anything. I mean, where are you going to put Devontae Adams?
And who's going to lose snaps because Devontae's here? I mean, we got two solid receivers at 1 and 2.
Well, we have the best wide receiver in the NFL and one of the best rising stars in the NFL at wide receiver.
And a full wide receiver room full of talent, in my opinion.
So, yeah, you're going to pay the kind of money that Davante Adams is getting and the kind of draft capital that would require to get Davante Adams for him to be wide receiver 3? I don't think so.
No, it's not happening.
And you're not kicking Jordan Addison back to wide receiver 3.
No.
He is most likely going to end up with the Jets. It's not obviously not happening before this weekend, but head coach Aaron Rodgers wants him, so head coach Aaron Rodgers will probably get him before they're going to go through all this, and then Rodgers is going to retire after the year, and then they're going to be stuck with all this stuff. Dexter Lawrence and Neighbors are the two Giants that they said are staying. And if I'm the Giants, I agree with that. I don't shop either one of them. This isn't like Major League Baseball when the minute you start having a shitty team, you start offloading all your assets.
Right.
Dexter Lawrence are a great cornerback. I like our cornerback group right now. Gilmore and Griffin have been playing very solid. Byron Murphy had a hell of a game against Green Bay. Sarah, thank you very much. We don't need to trade for anyone.
And with the disgusting act, I don't know if we have 4 picks. I think we only have 3 picks next year. I mean, we got compensation picks coming, I believe.
Three picks, and then for sure the 1 comp pick for Cousins. So
right.
Good evening, Dave. Good evening, Sonny. Good evening, Sarah. Good evening, Disgusting Act. Yeah, 4 picks next year, counting the compensatory pick right now anyway. Yeah, Vikings have good mojo. That's the thing, Drew. You do that, you bring in somebody else from the outside right now.
Right.
You risk messing up something that's going very well right now.
You either mess up the player that's coming in or you mess up the system that you're running.
Right. You piss off, you bring in somebody you bring in Davante Adams. Okay, that's going to piss off Jordan Addison. Or it's going to piss off Jalen Naylor or whoever, and that Jalen Naylor has deserved to be wide receiver 3 right now from how well he's played all year.
And if we're trading for anybody, hypothetically, we're trading for an interior offensive lineman or somebody along the defensive line. That's who we're going to be trading for if we trade for anyone.
Yeah, and I don't see us trading for anyone because, like you said, we don't have the draft capital to do it.
We don't have the assets to be trading for anyone right now.
No. Davante Adams will go somewhere. I think it'll end up being the Jets. Kansas City's in dire need of a wide receiver right now, but there's no way in hell the Raiders are going to trade him to Kansas City.
And John Whalen, we're all in agreement with you here. I think we go with the hand that we're holding.
Absolutely. So just had to bring that up since it was kind of been the hot topic the last couple of days, at least anyway, because the Raiders have said that they're shopping him. They've given his representation permission to seek a trade. So Doc throwing us the cold water on the thing here scares me getting these streaks sometimes teams buying their own hype. That's very true.
You know what? Quessy and KOC know what they're doing. And what they're doing right now is working. I don't look for us to add any wrinkles. Like I said, we don't have the assets to add any more wrinkles anyways. And with the roster we got right now, I'm liking what I'm seeing. So,
yeah. And if you heard, and we'll talk about this a little bit more later, but Andrew Van Ginkel talking this week said Flores pretty much lit into the defense big time after that second half against Green Bay last week. So, to Doc's point about buying into their hype, maybe they bought into their hype a little bit when they were up 28-0, but Beefalo made sure to ground them in a quick hurry on when they had their post-game meeting. Davante Adams is Lindsay Lohan, much better 10 years ago. Yeah, Flores was a meanie to the defense. Yep. Tua was right. He was mean. Oh, no.
We talk about that. I don't know how much it went into play calling on defense and how much it went on to execution. Did Flores call a little bit more prevent in the second half,
They ran a lot more cover 2 and less blitzing.
Right. So, the team deserves to get laid into a little bit, but I think the coach needs to take some of that as well.
Absolutely. I agree. Both Flores and O'Connell deserve a little bit of culpability on the fact. And I mean, up 28-0. Yeah.
And in all honesty, this locker room really has a family-like feel to it. You know what I mean?
It does.
So,
I mean, at up to 28-0. I mean, I'm still keeping the foot down myself. I see what, I can understand it, just trying to burn clock and that other stuff. And when the Packers started coming back, then they started kicking the aggression level back up again.
And it's not all about continuing to score points. It's about extending drives and time of possession. Mm-hmm. If you can go out and burn 4 minutes off the clock and you don't walk away with some points when you're up 28-0, that's all right. That's all right. But when you're going out there and you're running 3 plays and kicking it, punting it away right after that, then that's when the problems start coming up.
Yeah. To Drew's point here, don't be fooled by the comeback. The Vikings were playing much different in the second half. I agree with that.
Exactly. Yeah.
100%. I know you're starting to. I've seen stuff around this week. Oh, did the Vikings defense get exposed in the second half against Green Bay? No. They just sat back and started playing softer defense, and they weren't blitzing.
They were keeping everything in front of them, basically, is what they were doing, and not preventing the deep play. But
so since we're already rolling into this stuff, why don't you continue on with your last word of the on the
and with that being said, the big chunk of Green Bay's offensive production came in the fourth quarter. When the game had already been put away, and when Flores adjusted to the speed of the game. I wish we would have got after Love a little bit more or got home. I know we were all over him all day, but getting home would have been great a few more times. I mean, that stat line for Jordan Love looked really ugly for really long, for the better part of 3 quarters of that game. And then it's once we let him start going is what, once we had that muff on the punt, I thought, uh-oh, here we go. And sure enough, there we went, But the good thing is that we were, like you said on Monday night, able to escape from Green Bay with the W.
Yeah.
We didn't let it all go to where we ended up walking away. That would have been, humiliating. A humiliating loss if we would have let that go. But we were able to hang on. Darnold was able to make the plays that needed to be made at the end of the game to get us that two score lead to seal the game, and then recovering the onside kick. So
right.
I just want to see. We see in 3 weeks. Stop looking at stuff.
Drew, I'm reading comments, looking at my notes, and talking to Brunswick all at the same time here. So my eyes are bouncing back and forth. Apologize for that.
I think we had 3 weeks outside of that San Francisco game where we kind of let them get back into it, but we had 3 complete games, in my opinion, especially that Texans game. And it's ironic that last week I brought up we haven't had one of those games where we go up 20-0 in the half, and then we're like, what the fuck? And that's what ended up happening on Sunday.
Yeah, but the what the fuck didn't happen until the fourth quarter, like you mentioned.
Well, I think I felt it right after Naylor muffed that punt is when I started feeling that familiar feeling.
Right, but neither team really did much for most of the third quarter either.
No, the third quarter I think we did pretty well, but it was the end of the third going into the fourth is when we started having issues.
Yeah, I'm just going off what I hear what I see on Twitter, Drew. I'm just throwing shit out there just because it's out there, and it's not. I know it's not legit by any means. It's just kind of pointing out the bullshit and hypocrisy. But yeah, whatever.
Proto Doc had a great comment there, right above Drew.
Yeah, I agree with that 100%, Doc. It's
and it's better to come out on the winning side because then you could build off of that.
Right.
Know?
Yeah. If you can learn a lesson and not lose the game in the process, that's even more valuable than it is. Where I get that bitch and BU sign. My lovely wife had that made over in the Philippines. So she gave it to me as a present when I was over there earlier this year. And it turned out really cool. I'm pumped about it. Anything else you want to hit about the Packers game before we?
It's nice seeing the run game get some work and actually, churn out some yards this year, which it continues to do week to week. Aaron Jones is huge. I mean, I would like to have seen him get in the end zone last week. We tried hard as hell on that one drive to get him in.
But we couldn't do it. And that was, I think, part of what kind of screwed things up in the second half is they were trying too hard to get Aaron Jones' touchdown. Yeah. That interception that Darnold threw, he was trying to force it to Jones and shouldn't have. It wasn't an interception.
What a favor for McKinney, honestly.
Yeah.
You know, and after all of the reviews on the catches all day, and then for that to come down to that, it doesn't make any sense.
No. Well, but look at, I mean, we won 3 challenges on missed calls on catches.
Yeah, and then that's exactly what I'm saying. You have 3 reviewed balls on what is a catch or not, and we get all those reviews, and then it comes down to that interception, and it's even more like you could see it more than you could see the other ones. That was not a completion.
Right.
He did not have control of that until after he fell out of bounds.
No, I mean, we really could have used a challenge for that one, and we could have used a challenge for that spot on 4th down at the goal line too, because I still think
was horrible.
I still think we got that first down
easily.
And if we had that first down, the game would have been over there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, Sarah, that's why we couldn't challenge the spot, because he'd already used won the first 2 challenges, so we got the third one and won that one just because that officiating crew had no idea what the fuck a catch was.
Well, they did for 3 times. They did for three of the challenges all 3 challenges we made. They knew what a catch was.
We had to challenge them because they got it wrong to begin with. It was
true.
New York was the one that set them straight on it. They reviewed because all turnovers are reviewed. And that one they still got wrong. Yeah.
It doesn't make any sense to me. And like I said, they did McKinney a favor is what they did.
Yeah. Well, even what's his name? Their rules guy that CBS has on it, he said it was incomplete even.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. NFL officiating is terrible. I agree, Drew. It's not just the fact, that everybody comes in. I even heard the Packers saying, "Oh, the Vikings got all the calls this week," and blah, blah, blah. It's not even so much team bias for officiating, unless your team is the Kansas City Chiefs, but it's the fact that officiating league-wide is horseshit.
It has been.
Sarah thinks we should get unlimited challenges until we fail. I'm okay with that.
Exactly. I agree. Absolutely. Why not?
Well, they're like, the integrity of the game, and the game's going to be 4 hours. I don't care if the game's 4 hours long, as long as you get the calls right.
Right. And if you're challenging 3 times and you're getting all those challenges, then obviously the calls aren't right on the field then.
Right.
So, yeah, they should afford you. If you get all 3 challenges, they should afford you challenges until one gets overturned.
Yep. Well, anyway,
with that being said, Bob, Swede said it perfectly, I guess. But you know what? We got all 3 of our challenges, and that's what.
And all 3 of those challenges that we had to use were in critical situations.
Right.
So, Doc, is the officiating getting worse, or is replay camera angles gotten better? And we know that's a very good point.
That's plausible.
Very good point. With all that stuff you see now and the ability to, go back and look at things from 100 different angles. Yeah, you might be right on that, Doc. I mean, we always know the officiating has always sucked, but it is what it is. But anyway, we can sit and bitch about the officiating for the one was used on the JJ sideline catch. Yep, that was one, and the other 2 overturned Packers receptions where the ball clearly bounced off the ground. And that JJ sideline catch was amazing, and there's no way that they should have.
Yeah. Those don't happen very often. That was
he
pure, stuck it.
That was Chris Carter-esque on that one.
Yeah.
But anyway, like I said, we can bitch about the officiating all night, but let's move on to this week's matchup at Tottenham Spur Stadium over in jolly old England, where the Vikings are hosting the New York Jets and our old buddy Aaron Rodgers.
Those bloody wankers.
Yeah.
Bloody hell.
Bloody hell. But for the Vikings, JJ catches should be exempt from challenges. Of course, it's a catch. Bad fishing is part of the game. Being in a position to not let calls hurt you, especially 28-0. Absolutely, Drew.
Agreed.
That's 100%.
Agreed.
Bob with a bold take there. I will say this. Randy Moss was a more freakishly talented player, but I do believe Justin Jefferson is a more complete player.
Yeah, Moss is more of a freak athlete where Jefferson
Moss hated going over the middle, and that's where Jefferson thrives.
He did. And that's a lot of the space where Jefferson makes his bread and butter right there is in the middle of the field.
Agreed. Yep, 100%. Anyway, looking at the injury report, we have all hands on deck this week, ladies and gentlemen. The guys that were out last week, Ivan Pace missed the game last week. He has been practicing all week. They expect him to be ready to go.
Quietly becoming healthy, for sure.
Yep. Sam Darnold, was listed with the knee. He did come up limping a time or two there against Green Bay. He's good to go. There was a couple other guys on the injury report too, but everybody is good and expected to play as far as the Vikings go. And the Vikings officially today opened the practice window for tight end TJ Hawkinson. Now he will not play Sunday. He is now
a trip, though.
Yeah, he's there. He did the walkthrough with the team today and showed up on the injury report as a limited participant, but will not play Sunday. Right now, the thought is he will be back for the revenge game against Detroit in 2 weeks. So Jets are too busy trying to acquire Adams. They don't care about the game on Sunday. Skill versus God-given talent. Yeah. All I've been hearing from the Jets media, Devontae. Yep. I'm seeing that too. It's, like I said, that.
I don't know, man. I have a feeling Aaron Rodgers is going to be running for his life this weekend.
Yeah. And Aaron Rodgers, injury report wise, we'll finish up on the Jets. Starting with Aaron Rodgers, showed up on the injury report with a knee injury this week. He said on his weekly visit to Pat McAfee's show that he expects to play, but knee was sore and a bit swollen on Wednesday, I guess. Other than that, Elijah Vera Tucker was limited with an ankle. Their right tackle, Morgan Moses, is out, so rookie Olu Fashanu will start. Linebacker CJ Mosley has missed the last 2 games, still showing as limited, so not sure whether or not he will play. But if he does not, our old buddy Chaz Surratt is the backup to CJ Mosley.
Chaz Surratt.
Yep. Also, defensive tackle Leaky Fotu is coming off of injured reserve, on track to play.
Hassan Reddick playing. Funny.
Yeah. 50% chance of rain on Sunday. Yeah, that's we saw what happened in a kind of a rainy game against Denver last week.
What an ugly game that was.
Yeah, I mean, everybody's talking about the Jets offense. They lost to a quarterback who had -7 yards passing on 12
what?
completions.
Yeah.
In the first half.
What the fuck is that stat line?
It's everything we said Bo Nix was going to be in the NFL, because that's what he was in college.
How in the fuck do you throw for -7 yards on 12 pass plays?
Well, they said another cool, funny stat I saw at the end of the game. Cortland Sutton had 60 of the Denver Broncos 53 yards passing.
Yeah.
That's not a typo.
60 of the 53 yards.
He had 60 yards receiving. As a team, they only had 53.
Man.
Lutz made a 61-yard field goal and then barely missed another 61-yarder at the end. Yeah, I don't think it's going to be that close. I don't. Concerned about the turf the turf over there. It's a temporary stuff. I said, somebody mentioned the cleats up earlier. They got to make sure that they've got this thing situated. They've got the right cleats, because if you remember right, 2 years ago, this very field, this very situation was where Lewis Seen had that gruesome leg injury.
Yep.
So the field is a concern, and that is definitely
a reverse check down.
Yeah.
That's how you get 60 yards on 53 yards passing.
Yeah. Jets fans talking about blowing us out. Yeah, you couldn't score more than 9 against a rookie. Yeah, that's what we're talking about. And a guy and a rookie that threw for less yards than. I mean, you throw for -7 yards in the first half, and it's not coming in and throwing one pass and having gone backwards or something. It was. Drew, part of the demise this year is a disappointment of Breece Hall in the running game, completely horrible thus far. I agree. And Breece Hall, I mean, he has been one of the better running backs in the league, but now, when he got hurt last year there for a bit.
Has he been, though? Has he really been one of the best running backs in the league?
I said one of the better running backs.
I don't think so. I mean, he was injured all of last year.
Not since he came back from his injury. No.
But even the year before that was his rookie year, and he still wasn't all that. I mean, he was okay, but I mean, I'm not going to label him as one of the better running backs in the league. I think he has a lot to prove yet. Not downplaying what you're saying, Ryno, by any means. But with that being said, I look for them to be running lots of 21 personnel this weekend. That's what seems to be the bread and butter right now for the Jets.
Yeah.
And that's involving both the running backs, Breece Hall and the other guy they just brought in, the Braylon, I think his name is, the other running back. But I mean, that's what they've been having success with. I look for more of that this weekend.
Yeah. To Doc's point here, the professional team, and they got humiliated last week. Yeah, but you got to look at it from the same thing with the Vikings. Yeah, the Vikings did walk out of Green Bay with a win, but they shit the bed in the fourth quarter.
They did.
And they did. I mean, we already know that Flores lit into the guys about letting up and not finishing plays and stuff like that in the fourth quarter. I fully believe that KOC and Flores are going to have their respective units ready to go, and they're not going to allow for a letdown.
And it goes to saying is that when you have a drive offensively and you're up with the lead like that, you have to have at least some success moving the ball down the field, whether or not you score when you're up by 28-0, but at least get that time of possession and swing into your favor. That's what it's all about there. If you want to finish a game like that,
Right.
And when you're not, when you're running 3 plays and then punting it away, that's just giving the Packers the prime opportunity to get back in the game.
Mm-hmm.
So you can't slow down. You can't.
No. Riley, or having Addison healthy for this game is key. Sauce versus McCarthy is going to be, not McCarthy. Jefferson's going to be a battle. Addison could eat. Yeah. And that's the thing. Sauce Gardner is one of the few guys in this league that, could potentially cover Justin Jefferson one-on-one.
Right. I agree. Absolutely.
I think Jefferson will still be able to get his yards. Skull for life. Good evening. But,
and honestly, this year it hasn't been with Jefferson, getting a lot of yards, but it's him making great plays and opening things up for the other people around him. Yeah. I mean, when he's going across the field and you got 3 guys trailing Jefferson, that you're leaving 1 or 2 people wide open somewhere.
Well, how many times have we seen so far this year where Jefferson will run that short in, draw everybody up on him, and then they hit about
over the top.
Just over the top to,
just last week to the Addison, we seen that.
Yep. Did it and then Naylor's had 2 touchdown catches off of that. But, beyond that, speaking about Jefferson, talking about his stuff, he, not only is he, but he's getting more touchdowns this year. For all the yards and stuff Jefferson's always got, he's never been a huge touchdown guy. It's always been that, in the middle, and he ends up down. He's got 4 touchdowns already this year.
I mean, we got Addison now with with a few touchdowns. We got Naylor with 3 or 4 touchdowns now.
Yep.
Jefferson with, I mean, it's the same thing on defense. I mean, the complementary play by the team and the team playing together as a team, where not just one person's feasting, where the whole team is putting in the work.
Yep.
It's not just one guy.
Johnny Munt's got 2 touchdowns now too.
Right. Everybody's getting involved. I think Darnold had completions to 9 different fucking receivers last weekend.
Yeah, right. To start, and that was just in the first half.
Yeah.
I got to put up Sarah's comment here. O'Connell and Flores versus Sala and Hackett as Chess versus Gofish. I mean, I like Robert Saleh as a defensive coordinator. I think he's another one of those guys that is better suited at that position. And Nathaniel Hackett's just a buffoon. I mean, he's an idiot. Yeah, he's a hack. That's it. We saw that when he tried to be a head coach last year with the Denver Broncos. They brought him in expecting to get Aaron Rodgers, and then when that didn't happen, then they had to go with Russell Wilson, and that worked about as well as could be expected. And now he's the offense. Well, let's be honest. Aaron Rodgers is the offensive coordinator. Hackett just stands there with a goofy look on his face on the sidelines. But
I'd be the guy to stand there with a goofy face on the sideline just to be on the sideline.
Well, yeah, there is that. Jets would be shitting their pants soon. I agree, Drew. And it's
not even the front seven. This whole fucking defense, even the back end and the corners, are just playing out of their minds this year.
Well, and that's the thing. I mean, you got to be careful with the blitz, because even though Aaron Rodgers now is nowhere near what Aaron Rodgers used to be, I mean, he can still read the blitz, and so you're going to have to be getting there a lot of times, without only bringing 4, maybe 5 guys, not sending the house, because Rodgers can still hurt you.
Oh yeah.
I mean, you got Garrett Wilson, who's a good wide receiver. Alan Lazard seems like he's their
number 1 right now.
He's their number 1 right now. I think more than anything, just because of Aaron Rodgers' familiarity with him, because Rodgers played 4 snaps with Garrett Wilson last year. He hasn't developed that rapport yet, and seeing how Rodgers handled young wide receivers in Green Bay, it's not really surprising that he and Wilson are not really on the same page yet, which is fine by me. They can be in different books as far as,
Yeah.
Doc is upset. No bar is going to be open at kickoff. Yeah. And it's on NFL Network, which I don't have cable anymore. So I'm going to have to do one of those, Fubo free previews or whatever, just so I can get that for the
free trial. Yeah.
Yeah. That 1-day free trial, and then cancel it right after the game is over. But
yeah,
Darnold seems to be pretty in sync with everybody in the offense, except maybe Powell. We forgot to bring that up earlier. Let's talk about that. Sam Darnold, your NFC Offensive Player of the Month for Sam Timber. Yeah. I mean, write that or raise your hand if you had that on your bingo card before the season started. I mean, we thought Darnold was going to be decent, but what he's done since then, or since he's got here, is
the talent has always been there. The talent has always been there.
Always has. I mean, he just very bad situations.
Structure.
Yeah, no talent around him. And then when you have Adam Gase and Matt Rule as your head coaches, Patrick Mahomes would have struggled with either one of those nimrods as their head coach.
Yeah.
Everybody, system quarterbacks. Well, the system does make a ton of difference.
And you know what? It does matter. It's part of the game.
It does.
So.
But kudos to Sam on that. I mean, he great first month, and let's hope it continues on here into Samtober. So Sam Fort, threw 4 touchdowns last week. I mean, he's leading the NFL in touchdowns right now. How do you think the Vikings attack New York offensively? That's going to be an interesting point. And a lot of it, I think, is going to depend on what the weather's like. I mean, if it's if it's raining hard, it's going to be hard, more difficult to throw the ball. You're going to have to rely on the run game. I mean,
I could see us running a lot of 21 personnel as well. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think we got with Aaron Jones and Ty Chandler, both have played very well so far this year. And to your point a little bit earlier about Breece Hall struggling, I like our chances if it gets into having to run the ball versus them. Now, the Jets defense is no slouch.
No, their front seven is okay. But when it comes to their defensive backs, that's when you start getting the meat of that defense.
Yeah. Because you've got DJ Reed.
If you're missing Mosley and Johnson on defense, out of your front seven, I mean, that takes a lot away.
Yeah.
And the Jets aren't known for, getting after the quarterback very much this year. So
no, they don't have a ton of sacks, I don't think, but I think there's room to be had.
Oh, and speaking of screens, we actually have a screen game this year, right?
Yeah, amazingly, I know. Oh, Brunswick's fan club has showed up again.
Oh, wow, yeah.
Breece Hall is the X factor. Don't think OL can handle our pass rushers. I don't think they can either, Riley. If Breece can get rolling, we could be in trouble. Yeah, I mean, you look at Josh Jacobs last week. He's the league's leading rusher up until last week, and we pretty much shut him down.
And if the Jets decide to blitz us, Sam Darnold has been exceptional against the blitz this season.
Oh, absolutely, he has.
Exceptional against the blitz. I think up until last week, he was 100% completion percentage against the blitz.
Yeah. Yeah, Doc, that giving up 4 yards per run. Yeah, if you can hit 4 yards per run, you punch that ball down their freaking throat. I don't care if we win this game 13-10. As long as we walk out of London with a win, I think it's going to be a higher scoring game than that. But Skull for life after Sam's first interception, the first game, me and Furlington said, "Boy, it's going to be a long year." Look at him, never thought this. Yeah, I mean, to Sam's credit, we've seen this in past years with the guy that we're not going to bring up about where a interception would.
2 of those interceptions shouldn't even be on the fucking slot.
No,
one was
shouldn't.
Because his arm got nailed, and the other one was an incompletion.
The bullshit one from this past week. Yep. Braylon Allen is hard to bring down once he gets going. Yeah, he is, but can't let them establish the run. Yeah, and that's the thing. If you get
horrible,
but
you guys are horrible.
But I mean, the Vikings defense is number 1 against the run. So part of that, I mean, they're also 32nd against the pass, but part of that is the fact that we've been having such big leads. Teams are abandoning the run and having to throw the ball on almost every down.
Don't let those stats confuse you. This is an elite defense here in Minnesota.
Well, and that's the thing. We're 32nd against the pass, but we are first in DVOA, so that all you analytics nerds can get all hot.
Yeah, and first in scoring defense. So I mean,
first in scoring defense.
Up the yard, but we aren't giving up the touchdown.
We are in the top 2 or 3 in every defensive category, other than yards allowed.
I mean, we're right on the cusp of having the top 10 offense and the top 5 defense.
Yeah.
So I agree.
Pain is hard.
I agree that pain is hard too.
Yeah. Going to cause an absolute meltdown between Saleh and Rodgers. I think that's something we haven't mentioned yet tonight. Thank you for bringing that up. There is a bit of a schism.
Yeah,
forming between Saleh and Rodgers. They're not on the same page.
I haven't heard that word in a long time.
I know. I pulled it out of the archives just for this moment because I thought about this earlier today when I was driving home from the excursion up to Itasca today. But you see it a lot of times when Saleh's calling something. Rodgers gets that stupid look that Rodgers tends to have on his face.
Or after the play doesn't work, he'll have the whole.
Yeah. The eye roll and the, oh my God, I can't believe you fucking made me just run that guy thing, kind of stuff. And
yep.
Absolutely, Drew. rivalry game tomorrow, UND, North Dakota State. So I had to rep the Bison here the night before too. So DVOA is double value on attempts. I don't know what it stands for. Something.
It matters.
Yeah, it's a football analytics nerd term that basically takes into account most. You know,
I feel like it
goes the next level over the stats.
In the last 5 years, there have been so many new terms coming into this whole football stat.
Yeah, you've got like wins above replacement, and you've got DVOA, and you've got.
It used to be just look at the box score, and you figured it all out that way.
Yeah. More than anything, just want to see Rodgers eat turf, even if we lose, but have 5 or 6. No, losing's not an option, Riley.
No, not for me. No,
no,
especially to a Jets team.
No, not to this Jets team. Yeah, that is a clusterfuck right now. To Drew's point, falling apart again. Big shocker. Hope Rodgers has changed up that cadence. Yeah, like I said, Rodgers doesn't scare me anymore.
Let's lose to a good fucking team. Let's not lose to a team like the Jets.
Yeah. No, the Vikings go and play the way that they've been playing the first 4 weeks or 3.5 weeks at least. Then, that they should have no problems with the Jets. Panis is saying this is Dallas Turner's coming out game, calling it now. Bold take. I love it.
Panis.
And it's Turner's been a little bit quiet since that opening week. He was out for a game, but
I'd like to see them not allow what happened last week ever again this season. Hopefully that's what we take away from last week.
Mm-hmm.
That they don't allow that to happen again this year.
And part of that is if you get up 28-0 on another team, don't take your foot off the gas. Make it 40-0.
Let Sam Darnold throw fucking 7 touchdowns in a game. I don't care.
Reach into their freaking chest cavity and pull their will to play out.
Take away their will to want to win.
Yeah. And I think, honestly, I believe last week, if that muff had not happened,
yes,
we'd have went in there at 28-0. I think we'd have saw Malik Willis the second half.
I agree. And I still believe it was dumb as fuck for LaFleur to put in
cram hole LaFleur.
Right. Stupid as fuck to even let him go out there. As far as love goes.
Yeah, I mean he did look better the second half. We'll give him that, but that first half he wasn't putting any pressure on that left foot when he was planting to throw. Everything he was throwing was off his back foot. But again, we're beyond the Packers now. We're on to the Jets, but I think that we were this close to taking the will to even want to compete from Green Bay last week. And I'm just going to say this one more time and I'm going to be done with it. If you're back there returning punts and you can't see the ball, get the fuck out of the way and just let it go. If it gets down inside the 5,
let it
fine.
go in the end zone.
Yeah.
Fuck. When you got to go like this to catch the ball, you don't fucking do it.
No, you don't catch the ball over your head. You let it go because it can happen just exactly what it does. It bounced off his helmet or hit him in the hand or whatever it did because he was
right through his hands.
Wasn't quite right through his hands. If it had gone right through his hands and he not touched it, it would have been fine. But
right,
you just got it.
My butthole a little bit there. If that's
yeah, he doesn't normally return punts. Powell had gotten shaken up, so that's why he wasn't out there for that one. And that's on the special teams coach too. You got to keep it in these guys' heads that are going to go back to recover. If you think you're going to have problems with it, you can't see it, whatever, just get the hell out of the way.
Boneheaded play.
put away the Donachelle defense, go full purple bore. And that's the thing. They started laying back and playing a lot of cover 2 and stuff in that second half, and not being aggressive on the blitz like they were, because the blitz was bothering the hell out of Love that first half.
Yeah, it was. We weren't getting home. But speaking of which, Patrick Jones got his 5th sack on the season last week.
Yeah, he did. He's tied for what, 3rd in the league in sacks right now.
Yeah, and a lot of it has to do, like we were talking about the offense. It's complementary play by the team itself, where teammates are doing things to open up other things for other teammates to come in and make plays.
That's just it.
There's a means and technicality to every move that is made on that defense, and what's making things happen.
Yeah. Good point here. It's something that gets hashed out early in the season and ended up not having, not costing us the game, but it almost did. So, but yeah, with Rodgers this week, as good as Rodgers has historically been, we've also seen this many times. If you get him flustered early and get him pissed off, shit's gonna go downhill, and you take him out of the game.
Right.
And he's going to be out there pouting, and he's going to be, doing like we were talking earlier with his eye rolls and his, this stuff.
Fucking chin holder down and shit like that. And... Yes,
yeah, that's a very good point too, Drew. Absolutely on that. It's a.
I'm Lance Swede.
Yeah.
You can call me Brunswick, as you see.
Brunswick, yep. Either way, it was a complimentary fuck up in the second half. We'll put it that way. Both offense and defense could have done better to keep that game from getting. Well, all 3 phases. The special team started it, but to get it, keep it where it was and not get into that area. So, but anyway, anything else you want to hit before we get to the keys to the victory here?
No, let's move. Keep moving. We're almost at an hour.
Okay. What are your keys to a Vikings victory over the Jets this weekend?
Not letting Aaron Rodgers slice us up. I love you too, Drew. Te amo, Pablo there, brother. But yeah, I mean, not letting Rodgers get comfortable. Number one. That offensive line is very suspect in New York. There's no reason why we shouldn't be able to feast on Sunday. Shutting down the offense as a whole. I mean, don't give up a yard. If the Broncos can do what they did to them, there's no reason why we shouldn't be able to do even more. Let Darnold cook. Establish that run game. It's a huge thing. That this play action has been huge for us this year.
Mm-hmm.
So establish the run on offense and shut down Aaron Rodgers on defense.
Yeah, for me, it's going to be, the weather's going to play a factor in this. So it's, if it's weather is shitty, we got to get we need to get the run going regardless, because like you said, that play action has been feeding off having a good run game. And it's amazing what an Aaron Jones will do for you in that, but got to get that going. Control the line of scrimmage, control the clock. Like you said last week, they only put up 9 points on the Denver Broncos defense. Our defense is better than the Denver Broncos defense. You have to pick your spots. The confusion that Flores throws at him, Rodgers will be able to determine a lot of what that is. So they got to be smart about that.
Riley Emmer, spot on.
Yep, absolutely. And that was the other thing I was going to bring up here. Win the turnover battle. Kevin O'Connell as a head coach is 21-0 when they are either tied or win the turnover battle. You win the turnover battle, we're going to win the game. And and the other key for me is if you get up early, don't take your foot off the gas. Keep going. It's perfectly fine to hang 40 points on your opponent.
Yeah, remind the other team that there's still a game that's being played.
Right. Don't let them hang around and do what Green Bay did last week. Punch their will to compete right out of their bodies. Make them just say,
What are we even doing here?
Exactly. What are we doing here? We traveled 8 hours to get our asses kicked. I just want to go home. I want to wait till the game is over so I can go see Big Ben and Buckingham Palace and just screw this. This isn't any fun anymore. And just make them not want to be there. And then once you do that, then you got the game. But do not let up until you get that final nail in.
I don't want that long plane ride home.
No, God, no. You lose that game and you make that ride home. And that's another thing that's going to sit in. So erase all doubt. Do what you did against the Giants. Do what you did against San Francisco. Do what you did against the Texans. Do what you did in the first half against the Packers.
Continue to show the league what the Minnesota Vikings are made of this year.
Yeah, the Vikings are still not getting any respect. ESPN, their morning show or whatever it was, of the 5 guys they had picking, only one of them picked the Jets or picked the Vikings to beat the Jets. And coincidentally enough, it was the former general manager of the New York Jets who picked the Vikings to beat the Jets. So,
wow.
But yeah, that's my keys. Pretty basic, pretty simple. Just do what we've been doing and eliminate the letdowns, eliminate the stupid mistakes.
I mean, outside of the second half from Green Bay, it seems like we have the special sauce this year. So
KOC is morphed into the head coach, has his team prepared. Absolutely, Drew. And that's that whole culture that he's been preaching for the last going on 3 years now.
Well, I mean, it's when KOC first came into the league as our coach. I mean, when he first came in as our coach, excuse me, you and I said, too, year 3 is going to be that year where we find out what this coach is made of. And we're finding out.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, I trust in Kevin O'Connell. You know, he's still learning a little bit as a play caller and a head coach.
He's getting better.
He absolutely is.
And that's what you want to see. Yes.
Yep. So,
and his play calling on offense outside of the second half against Green Bay has been top notch this year.
Yeah, I agree.
Clinical.
Right.
So
yeah, I mean, that's my keys. I think pretty straightforward, pretty simple. Drew wants to see Lance as Van Stalker. We'll worry about that on a late night episode later on. Lance will be hosting by himself. But anyway, with that, it is time once again for the regionally famous, semi-well-known and asked for by tens and tens of people every week, the predictions segment, where we not only look at the, of course, Minnesota Vikings game for the weekend, we look at the other games that have the most direct effect on the Vikings, namely the other NFC North games.
Some Monte Teo shit going on.
Sarah, I wasn't going to bring that up, but yeah, you look, every game he's played this year is a 1-score game, and yeah, but we're not going to get it.
I know. I'm just saying
we're not going to get into him because I don't want to go for another 2 hours here. But
right.
Anyway, so we will roll back into our prediction segment, starting off with the Carolina Panthers traveling to Soldier Field to take on the Chicago Bears. What do you think there, Brunswick?
Well, I'm not going to lie here to Ryno. Caleb Williams has looked much better the last 2 weeks. It's showing they're winning games, I think last week's game that Williams played was probably his best game as a professional so far. The Panthers are absolute garbage. I mean, I can't rightfully pick the Panthers to win this game, so I hate to say it, but I believe the Bears beat the Panthers this weekend.
Yeah, I do. Carolina's still hot garbage. They got that temporary bump from the Red Rifle when he came in that first game. They blew it last week. Chicago's defense is legit, and Chicago's defense is the bigger reason why the Bears have 2 wins this year than Caleb Williams is. I can agree
with that. I think you stepped it up this last game, but I can agree with that. That defense in Chicago is a big reason why they're winning games this year.
Yeah, but to the point of him stepping it up last week, they're going against a decimated Rams team last year, and
last week. Yeah.
Yeah. So I still don't buy the Caleb Williams hype. I don't.
No, I don't either. I'm not buying into the hype. I'm just saying he looked better than what he did the first 2 weeks of the season.
Well, that was a pretty low bar to hit on that because he looked absolutely fucking atrocious the first 2 weeks of the season. So,
yeah.
But I agree with you. The Carolina is just garbage right now, and Chicago's defense will be enough to carry him in this game, whether or not Caleb Williams plays anything that resembles NFL football.
And if it's not, I will laugh hard.
Yeah. Yeah. I would love to see Carolina go in there and bitch slap them all the way up and down Lake Michigan, but
the Red Rifle.
Yeah.
Andy Dalton.
Yeah. So Chicago's got no offense, but but the Carolina Panthers don't have anything, so you don't need any offense or to beat Carolina. We'll put it that way. Ryno wants Anthony Richardson. I'm perfectly happy with the situation we have now, Drew.
Yeah.
I still think I like Anthony Richardson. I think he does have potential to get somewhere at some point in time in this league.
We were both on his train there for a minute when he was coming out. Yeah, that's for sure.
But nobody's playing the Colts this week, so we'll worry about that in a couple weeks. It's okay. We both got the Bears. Then the next game, Packers going to Los Angeles to take on that depleted Rams team that we just talked about. Yeah.
You know, I mean, if Chicago is going to go and beat the Rams, I'm going to have to. I hate to fucking pick every NFC North team this week, but the Packers, I can't pick the Lions because the Lions are on a bye. So there's that. But, you know, if the Bears can go and beat Los Angeles, I would have to lead me to believe, in all honesty, if we're doing this by the book, the Packers are going to beat the Rams too.
Yeah. Now, I would laugh my ass off if Green Bay trots in there and gets handed a big old L, take the L off the Hollywood sign and hand it right to LaFleur at the 50-yard line. I'd love that. But, until the Rams get healthier, they're going to have a tough time. I mean, they did beat San Francisco with this depleted team. So it's possible. You know, it depends on what kind of a game Stafford can have. You know, throwing to Van Jefferson and nobody else, basically.
Right.
You know, they've got a little bit of a running game. You can run on Green Bay.
I mean, Sean McVay is their head coach. I mean,
yeah,
maybe.
Never say never. I don't think it's going to be a blowout game whatsoever. It probably could come down to being.
Don't get me wrong. I want the Rams to win. But
absolutely. I do too. I'm just trying to be objective here. I'm not just just letting my disdain for Green Bay let me cloud my judgment on here. I'm taking Green Bay. I feel dirty about it. I'm going to have to go take a shower now, but yeah. Then of course, yes, the Detroit Lions taking on bye this week.
They're going to lose.
Yeah. Bye is a 3.5 point favorite right now, but no. It's early season bye. Week 5 seems like they're starting to bye weeks earlier every year. It's like shit going in the stores for Christmas.
You know what though? The NFL season is the fastest part of my year. It seems like. I mean, one day it's week 1, the next thing you know, it's fucking week 14, week 15, and you're like, where did the time go?
Yeah, how the hell have we played 4 games already?
Right. The NFL's part of the year for me is the fastest part of the year for me. Mm-hmm. It just flies by.
Yeah, absolutely, it does. We're
going to be homer and embrace it. Yeah.
Okay. Packers suck.
Right.
But yeah, anyway. Then, of course, on to the most important game of the weekend. Again, across the pond in jolly old England. The Minnesota Vikings playing host to the New York Jets.
I mean,
yours.
We're going to whoop their ass. We're going to whoop their ass just like we whooped, the Giants and we whooped the Texans and the way we should have whooped the Niners and the Packers. I look for us to I believe that we're pissed because of what happened last week, and we're going to come out firing on all cylinders and try to make an example out of this Jets team and show that, remind the league that this Minnesota Vikings team isn't something that you want to fuck with on Sundays. So, and Thursdays, some days this week, but
and Mondays once in a great moon too.
Right. But I mean, I look for us to go out. Every good team goes out and takes care of business again on games that they should take care of business on, and I think that's what we're going to do this week against the Jets.
Yeah, and I think same thing. I think Minnesota is going to come back with a new focus and a new purpose after getting embarrassed that second half last week, after getting their asses reamed by the coaching staff. And, we mentioned it before. The Jets are a mess. Their quarterback and their head coach are not on the same page.
No identity whatsoever. No identity over there in the Jets.
We have seen what happens when quarterbacks and coaches are not on the same page. Things don't work out well. And if you can drive that wedge in there right away and have things go bad for them, have them get down early. The Vikings go in there and go up 14-0 in the first quarter. I think we can make it a very long day for the Jets. And they're going to, especially Rodgers is going to get pissed. He's going to get frustrated. And, there are times, and I've mentioned this before, that I don't even know if Rodgers really wants to be playing football right now.
Yeah, I feel that way too. Just the body language that he has given off the first 4 weeks of the season.
He's only there right now because it's New York and he's getting all the publicity, which the man, that is the fuel that drives that man's soul is attention and publicity. And you're not going to get any more anyplace else than New York. For everything that he got when he was in Green Bay, he's getting more now. Even though he's half the quarterback he was when he was in Green Bay.
Agreed.
So with that, I think the Vikings learned their lesson last week. I don't think they're going to coast if they get up, by 2 or 3 scores right away. Score 35, 40 points on these guys. Just go out and do it.
Yeah.
And I think the Vikings go over there. They take care of business. We go into the bye week at 5-0. So you and I are lockstep with our picks this week. So we shall see how that turns out come next week. But with that, that's about all we've got for tonight. We've been going here for about an hour. So give it an evening and let you guys get back to your Friday evenings, even though it is getting a little bit late. But thank you again for everybody who's joined the chat. A lot of great discussions and comments coming out. Some new people here tonight. Great to see that as always. Big thank you to everybody who's following the Facebook page. We are now over 9,300 followers on our Facebook page and over 2,100 now on the YouTube channel. So
we're over 10,000 followers on Facebook now.
We're over 10,000 now?
Yes.
I checked last night and it was 9,300. So we got several hundred new followers here in the last day or so.
10.5 thousand followers on Facebook right now.
That's even better. We're over 10,000. That's fantastic. And, we do this because we love talking football with you guys. And, if you haven't done so, go hit the like on the Facebook page, become part of the drive to 11,000. Go over to the YouTube channel, hit that, be the drive for 2,200. And we're going to keep pumping out content for you guys week after week because we love doing it. We love talking Vikings. We love having you guys here for the live shows. So with that, also shout out to the Filipino fan club. I saw they were in here earlier, watching halfway across the pond as always.
Lots of international viewers coming in to watch.
Yeah, we had a guy from Australia last week.
We had somebody from Tijuana tonight.
Yeah. Lance has got I got a Filipino fan club. Lance has got the Latin American fan club down there going on. So BU International, ladies and gentlemen. So again, thank you everybody. And with that, take us out of here, Lance.
No, Facebook does not cost money.
Nope. But if you want to give us donations, we won't turn them down.
Right. But yeah, what a great week leading into this game, going to London. Let's walk into London. Let's walk away with a win coming out. I'm looking forward to the game on Sunday. It's a little earlier than I like, but I'll be up watching it and cheering on the purple and gold. with that being said, I look forward to seeing you all next Saturday at 7 p.m. for the preview to the bye week. So, with that being said, have a safe, fun, enjoyable, responsible weekend. And Millie and Aubrey, if you're out there watching, Dad loves and misses you. Skol.
Have a good weekend, everybody.